Hello everyone, this is Chris from the North Alabama Outdoor Sportsman. I was going to show you while I was walking around to check a camera some of the trees I planted over the years. This was planted in 2017. It's a red delicious apple. Drops in October. Right here's a Granny Smith. It drops in August. Right here's an Arkansas Black. Bunch of deer tracks. Let's see. Here's some purple tops. Pretty good. Of course, deer tracks. Here's an Arkansas Black. It drops into December. Right here's the Yellow Delicious. Well, keep filming deer tracks, I know. The Yellow Delicious that actually complements the Red Delicious. It makes the Red Delicious produce more fruit, but the Red Delicious does not do the same. So they go good together. Here's the persimmon. I need to clean up around and restake. That's just a regular persimmon. I need to clean up around this giant Fuya persimmon. And then here's a regular Fuya. As you can see, well, Samson's eating the grass. There's been browsing. He ain't done it all. He always only comes out when I come out. There's a regular Fuya persimmon. Got the old mock scrape set up. There's a Chinese chestnut. It's probably 4 years old. This was a pink lady. Still is. It's blooming back this year. They drop later, November, December. There's a Chinese chestnut right here. Obviously it's a little bit younger, 2 or 3 years old. Still over my head. And I know I'm short West Moy. I had a pink lady there, it got ate to the ground. There's actually another crab apple right here. It ain't doing too good. There's a Chinese chestnut right there. There's another one up there. Right here's some trees that I actually helped name. I come up with a name for Blue Hill Wildlife Nursery. They're called the Peak Attractions. They're crab apple trees. And the man Ryan sent me 2 of those for free. Just to come up with a name, you know. Here's another one. They're doing very well. Looks like the moon's out. You know, not that means anything in a deer hunting world. Here's another crab apple. It's only like second year. They grow, creep, and leap. So about the third year it goes better. Here's a crab apple in its third year. You can see the new growth. You can see the new growth. Right there, so it grew that right there all this year. Grew all that. So on and so forth. Right, here's a kefir pear. Drops Octoberish. Got some blooms on it, so it's gonna have some pears. Just now noticed that. That's been planted since 2017. But last year, there was a big old limb that created a Y notch. Well, that's a break point, so I had to take that off. Look at these blooms. All the way up through there. It'll be the first good year of pears. And of course the buck rubbed it on that side. I need to prune that sucker off. And right there the deer trimmed that sucker sprout. All right, here's a moon glow. And this one isn't maybe 3 to 4 years old. It's really took off. Got to prune all this. There's a rub, of course. Looky here, looky here. It put on about 7 or 8 pears last year. But it was so small and they were so big, the moon glows like a teardrop. That the branches are weighted down pretty good, so it should be better this year. Now here's an Asian pear. It's not looking too good. And how you can test, right there's new growth. You see, it's still alive, so it just ain't put out yet. That's only 2 years old. But it did grow this right here this year. Samson's loving it. All right, here's a pear with blooms. From Blue Hill Wildlife Nursery. The winter deer pear. Drops January to March. There's another little mock scrape post set up. Samson's drinking out of the water, little watering hole. Bunch of balloons. Hunter's deer pear. Drops October, November. Check them out, Blue Hill Wildlife Nursery. Get some to peak attraction. Like I said, I helped to name them. Another one, this is over my head. Whole season crab, September to January. Another one looking good. Roadkill crab. October, December. That one is a tree they grafted off of. That, of course, it was planted by the road, or grew by the road. And there's so many deer every year killed there by cars that that's how it's got its name. Another one been nipped off by the deer. Big dog crab. October through winter. You can imagine what the pears will look like on that one. Or not the pears, the crabs. My bad. Another one. Big dog crab. Oh. Another one. It's getting there. They just ain't took off yet. It ain't got warm enough. Curry crab apple. October through winter. And last but not least, another cur. The deer actually nipped that off. This is kind of what I call the pear and the crabapple plot. Which the crab apples will pollinate the apples. The apples won't do the same. You kind of want to plant everything together. Then you can factor in the wind drift too. They say 20-25 feet apart. So it's just best to plant all that before you go to planting to make sure they get pollination. And the different species can help each other. Here's just a regular old Tractor Supply mineral block. I threw that out early season. They've been hitting it some, but it's nothing like the PNR Whitetail Supreme. Here's another keeper pair. It's probably as tall as West Moy. You know, it's one of them you can just ask, is there any good looking women up there in that plain that, you know, it's so tall. Made a good vertical licking branch. Blooms. Trying to get the sky out of the picture. You can see the blooms a little better. And that's not all, but I felt like showing that. This one actually had a cage because a buck, of course, rubbed it on this side years back, and I got to prune all them sucker sprouts off. You definitely want to prune them off. These right here take nutrients away from your tree. It looks like a lot this year. I mean, look how tall they grew. When they could be putting on stuff like this. So on and so forth. But the buck rubbed on this side too. That must have been older because it barely shows it. But still, I definitely didn't want it to girdle it around and kill the tree. Enhance the cage. Chicken wise. Right here's the shooting house. Got down invited everybody to hunt at this year. Keep in mind, all these trees are within shooting distance and sight of said shooting house, food plots, and not really many people took me up on that offer. I've never shot a deer back here. I always let them go, grow. And just trying to get other people to come kind of enjoy what I started in 2017, 8 years ago. So maybe somebody will take me up on that offer this year. There's a feeders down here, which I don't have no feed in them, but can always put some in there. Oh, let me show you right quick. The big chestnut tree that they actually scrape under every year. And I actually got to watch it this year. A buck come scrape under there. Right here's a couple of blueberry bushes. I think Tiff Blue and Premier blueberries. Right here's the Climax blueberry. I had two. One of them died. Not because of nothing I did. It just another story. That one puts on a lot every year. I just have to keep it cleared out around. We also have a blind over there. One of those see-through blinds. The wind actually turned it over, of course. I know I keep saying of course, but I feel like y'all should know this stuff. Right here's the big chestnut tree. The one that started it all. That was the first tree I planted. And the Red Delicious. Right there. Both of them started it. And I haven't stopped. I always plant something new every year. Got some good ideas this year. Right here's the chestnuts. Those little prickly husk holes, whatever you want to call it, that you do not want to step on them barefooted. Right here they scraped a little bit. They broke off this branch. There's always a little scrape right there, a little basketball scrape. That right there is a scrape too. And that's where the big buck done it. I've not leaf blowed, mowed around this thing or nothing. As you can see, a lot of them use it. Just that way, that far away from the house, I reckon. Everybody talks about screening your plots and your property and edge feathering and TSI. Right here's an emerald green I planted. I had one over there, it died, but now I leave that brush pile. I got some new little cedars popping up. So that'll help. Because, I mean, once you clear this stuff out, them birds are going to come right here and do their business, and you'll have stuff like that pops up that you can use. I had one here that died. I had another one down there that died. So, 1 out of 3, I guess. Wasn't bad, it was a good price. Anyways, I planted that from a little bitty 1 foot tall cedar tree. We grew it in the garage for 2 years. And Me and my wife, we actually nursed that one. And that's back here skid steering the other day. I marked it so they wouldn't hit it. But yeah. My plan is to have several limb blocking, wind breaks, screening, everything. There's an old feeder. Need to take it down. Like I said, those birds will do the work for you. There's a cedar. Cedar. Just takes a little bit of time. Right, here's a little kiddie pool watering hole. I'm trying to let that get up and get thicker. I guess I need to hinge cut all that stuff. I never got to it, or plant some cedars to edge feather, like a soft edge transition. This thing ain't never been up without a water. It's been there for 8 years. Of course, the water runs into it. Got this little pipe feeder. Ain't been used in a while. They always hit that. That's like the first one that was ever here. Then years later, I built this one. Big straight peanut butter jar on it. There'll probably be some loss, but I'm gonna make it where a gravity feed down here so the bucks can better get their antlers and stuff in there. I'm gonna turn this sideways for a minute. There's no walls. This little V shape. Little slits in the bottom. Gravity fed. Easy peasy. I'll do some more videos later on about how I want to manage that little pine thicket right there, so on and so forth, manipulate bedding, travel corridors, everything in between. Thank you.